Demo of the week, Throwback edition. So you lot picked NiKo on cache, which means I get to do a tutorial on cache. It was removed from the competitive map pool in 2019, in March, and Counter-Strike's player numbers peaked after that. The viewership numbers peaked after that. So there's a fair few people who never really got to experience cache, and there's also a bunch of others I think who might have forgotten it, because, let's be honest, that's quite a long time ago. Cache is a 3-lane map. There's the path to B, the path to A, and then the path through mid. It's actually a T-sided map, having the highest win rate of any competitive map for the T side at 52.6%. This is thanks in large part to how mid is designed. Controlling mid gets you secondary access points into both A and B pretty much directly, which is something most maps don't have, and this makes the bomb site holds rather tenuous the moment mid falls. To add to that, mid is kind of simple to take. A smoke here and a smoke there, just cutting off the middle of mid will allow your riflers to get out pretty comfortably, then a smoke deep into the Z, as we call it, will get your AWP boosted up and set up, ready to take fights. All of this util can be thrown quite easily and quite quickly, which allows you to have a massive leg up in that mid contest. Now of course, if the CT side are well drilled and incredibly comfortable, they can challenge it, and they can challenge other areas of the map for map control too, which makes the map technically, yes, T-sided, but a competent team can string together 10 rounds on either side. Cache is also a map NiKo himself specifically excelled at. In fact, you could argue he mastered it. Since HLTV switched to rating 2.0 in March of 2016 or sometime around there, NiKo holds the highest rating on cache, minimum 40 maps played versus the top 20. It's his highest rated map, even surpassing Mirage, which is an incredible feat considering how bloody good he is on that map too. With all that being said, let's dive back into 2017 and see what a 21-year-old NiKo has to show us. One of those common tricks CT sides like to employ on cache is a boost in the corner between squeaky and main. What I like here is that NiKo gets boosted up in two different ways. The first is the most readable, and it's also the one they use twice. The first time it kind of gets messed up, but essentially this is the process. NiKo drops a smoke into main from forklift. Now he sneaks across to the boost boxes and gets raised up. Now if you see this set up on the T side, you immediately have a read on it. So it's useful once, and you see it used here once. It's a great effect, gets a multi-kill, brilliant. But now it's been spotted, and the moment you start dropping that smoke, it'll start getting spammed extensively, so you can't really use it again. The next way to do it starts with an A aggression. The two A players drop Molotovs and flashes into A main, allowing themselves to take control of the area, but also win any fights if they were presented to them, because essentially the Ts are stuck in awkward spots, blinded. There's no one there, they clear out, they drop a smoke right at the back of A main, right where the Ts would come in, to block that entrance for at least another 10-15 seconds. And then go and boost up NiKo. So they've gotten him into that same position, but from a completely different look for the T side. So they technically can expect it or check it, but the odds of them doing so is far lower than if they'd used that previous setup again. Another little positioning trick is how NiKo sets himself up behind the forklift. This isn't some fancy two-man setup or anything, it's just NiKo crouching behind forklift. He's holding this sort of headshot angle, so he can be headshot, but you know, it's NiKo, he's going to bet on himself that he can hit that headshot first. And the idea behind this is that yes, it's a weaker position because you are quite static, you're vulnerable to getting rushed down or mollied, but you play that off by being almost immune to the T-side pop flashes they'd use to get out of main or get across main when it's open. You see here, this pop flash has no effect. NiKo is basically unblinded and free to frag in the back of this forklift position. He gets a quad kill overall in this round, absolutely devastates the T-side, and wins it single-handedly. Something NiKo is rarely complimented on is his utility usage, but cache, he knew exactly what to do with his nades. There are a couple of occasions where NiKo sets up Kyo, the problem Shima, brilliantly. These flashes gift Kyo frags and phase rounds. Now, it's nothing to really write home about by itself, but it is pretty cool to see him being the guy kind of supporting another fragger. Then there's round 10, where NiKo is playing at the back of site. The T-side executes, using mollies to the back of site and to MBK, this spot here, to flush out any potential CTs hiding in this sort of area. Before the Ts actually can get to site, NiKo drops a counter molly at the front of the bomb site. This delays the T-side push and forces them to go essentially the other way towards mid, towards, the car position, a bunch of really awkward angles to try and fight from, especially on pistols, when they'd really rather be rushing into sight at this point. Having forced the T-side away, NiKo's able to use all the sound cues, all this information he's picking up, to just swing out and pick up a double kill, thwarting the attempt to push the bomb site, and simultaneously setting himself up to get as many kills as possible. This molly was genius. The T-side didn't last very long, so I grouped all the cool things I found into this section. The pistol round was an absolute goldmine though. Firstly, he hears the CT info play going into A main whilst he's holding for that squeak push. Knowing there could still be a CT holding main, NiKo comes flying out of squeaky, distracting chrisJ, but most importantly, crushing Lowell, closing that gap to make the Glock as effective as possible and panic the shit out of the CT. Not only is this opening kill great, but it also creates a whole load of space and draws the attention of that other CT player holding this squeak push. This means Rain is fighting a distracted chrisJ and gets the kill for free. NiKo of course then goes and gets a triple kill. Finally, round 18. NiKo and Keo are left in a 2v3. Knowing the defenders are likely coming in from A side and from mid, based off, the number of players they fought here, based off what Karrigan's mid lurk found, NiKo makes his way quickly into CT, beating the timing the CTs have to catch him out. Keo trades 1-for-1, which is great, but leaves NiKo in a 1v2. NiKo's position is unknown, and he has a very clear picture in his mind of where these remaining defenders are. He lets the first CT walk past him, has a bit of a nuke at the major moment, but eventually converts that frag, then underarms a flashbang immediately. Now, this timing on the flashbang is perfect. It catches the CT swinging in to trade him, and it makes the final kill, well, elementary. Alright, that's all for this one. If you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a patron. It helps me out a ton, and it gives you access to exclusive perks that non-patrons aren't afforded. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on this demo, like if you enjoyed it, and sub if you want to see more. And that's all for this one. Goodbye.